Terry Pratchett book not set in Discworld? Nation by Terry Pratchett is a standalone novel set in an alternative version of the 1860s. It follows Mao, a young lad caught between boyhood and manhood, whose entire nation is wiped out by a catastrophic storm. However, he finds he is not the only person still alive on the island, as the storm also brings with it the Sweet Judy, a trouserman ship, and Daphne, its one surviving passenger. There is deceptively little plot. It's really just about people on an island trying to survive and rebuild their lives. There's no huge war or conspiracy it's building up towards, but instead a lot of the story is more of a journey of intellect as the characters navigate the truths and lies that they've grown up with. Nation is a charming and well-written book that is relatively easy and quick to read. It took me longer than it usually would have, as I moved house partway through reading, as you may have gathered by the different background. But really it should only take most people a couple of days. I appreciate that despite being a simple narrative on the surface, this book actually navigates a lot of serious themes, including racism, colonialism, ageism, classism, life and death, grief and faith. And I think it handled all of this very well, with delicacy and respect, poignant but suitable for younger readers. I loved the characters and the way they interact. Although at the beginning you only really have Mao and Daphne, other people do come to the island, survivors of the storm looking for shelter. And the way they all mesh together despite their different backgrounds and beliefs is really nice to read about. It is, as you may expect from Terry Pratchett, very funny in his distinctive Pratchett-y way. And the world building is top notch. There are loads of details from the culture and beliefs of Mao's people to the unique flora and fauna of the island. By the end of the book, you feel like the island is a real place and the creatures that live there are actual animals. Every day I wake up disappointed that the tree-dwelling octopus is not, in fact, real. I only have very minor things. It's a little confusing at times, especially with Pratchett's distinctive style, but some instances may have just been me being a bit thick. There was one passage that rubbed me the wrong way, and it put me in mind of the gender roles that we have when it comes to magic. Ursula Le Guin, who wrote the Earthsea books and other things like Left Hand of Darkness, has some very interesting thoughts on the subject in her essay What Women Know. So if we think about the archetype of the wizard and the witch representing a typical male and female magic user, the wizard conjures up images of a man in a blue robe in a tower surrounded by books and potions and a general sense of learnedness and academia. He has been taught magic. The witch, however, we think of a woman perhaps dressed in rags or earthy tones, living in a cottage in the forest with bundles of herbs and flowers dangling from the ceiling, and journals of handwritten notes, a cauldron bubbling in the fireplace. Her magic is not learnt but simply known. In Ursula Le Guin's essay she says, "I didn't and still don't like making a cult of women's knowledge, preening ourselves on knowing things men don't know, women's deep irrational wisdom, women's instinctive knowledge of nature, and so on. All that all too often reinforces the masculinist idea of women as primitive and inferior. Women's knowledge as elementary, primitive, always down below dark roots, while men get to cultivate and own the flowers and crops that come up into the light. But why should women keep talking baby talk, while men get to grow up? Why should women feel blindly, while men get to think?" For the most part, Terry Pratchett doesn't lean into this. In fact, he does quite the opposite. Mao is the one who knows things, understands nature and the island, while Daphne has the learned scientific knowledge and academic background, which also doubles as a conversation on white and non-white knowledge. But one section stumbled. A woman who comes to the island is pregnant and about to give birth, and Mao gets Daphne to help because she's a girl, and in his experience, women just know these things. Daphne panics because she doesn't know how to help someone give birth, and funnily enough, her ship's medical journal doesn't have a step-by-step guide on how to deliver babies, and she has no access to WikiHow. She goes to the expectant mother regardless, and she just knows what to do, and that really annoyed me. It was just one bit, but it felt like it undid a lot of the really good work that Pratchett had done when writing about gender roles and such in this book. But apart from that, it was really good. In conclusion, I think this is a really great read which explores some pretty difficult themes with a gentle respect. However, it is still blatantly Pratchett, so if, like some people I know, you do not get on with his style at all, you probably won't enjoy this. But I would also urge people who have perhaps tried Pratchett in the past, a long time ago, and didn't get on with it, to maybe give him another go, because you may find your tastes have changed, or if you know what to expect going in, you may enjoy it more. But at the end of the day, he's not for everyone, and that's okay. So that's all my thoughts on Nation. Check it out if you come across it, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.